Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the hearing to order and acknowledge that we're in Treaty 1 territory and the traditional land of the Ojibwe, the Cree, Dakota people, and the national homeland of the River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation, Treaty 3 territory. My name is Ron Merritt. I'll be your chairperson this morning. To my left is the panel member, Laurie Davidson, and via Zoom is Mr. Richard Whitbread, sorry. And recording secretary is Belen Rowe. And representing the city from the assessment department is Jonathan Spacek. This morning we'll be hearing an application of revision of the assessment rule according to the Municipal Assessment Act. The matter for which revision is requested is described in each application, and we'll limit its discussions to those matters. The statements that are made at the hearing are sworn testimony. Anybody speaking these matters must be sworn in. Please be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The board is appointed annually by City Council, excuse me, and is independent along with the city administration. We make a decision based on the evidence provided at the hearing and issue a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decision in respect to application will be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value of court classification, or the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to application of exemption from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, how information on how to do so will be included in the board's order. In respect to the hearing this morning, I will confirm the points of appeal for the property to be addressed with each applicant. Following the swearing in, we'll then have the assessor's testimony, followed questions that the applicant may have, and then it'll be the applicant's testimony, followed by questions. Each party will have the opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all evidence about the application is brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket this morning. The session will close after all applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live stream recorded and will be part of the public record. This morning we'll be hearing items 1 to 20 on our docket. So I asked Ms. Rojo to affirm the assessor and to affirm the applicant's testimony. Thank you.
Mr. Assessor, please state your full name.
Jonathan Spacek.
And you affirm the evidence about to present at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, please state your full name. And you affirm the evidence about to present at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
All right. The first time on the docket, and I think we'll just go with the file number for the time being. Maybe that's might be applicable to all of them. So we'll go to file number 223954. Mr. Spacek, whenever you're ready, you can take us through that property.
Sorry, you say 3954 or 3952?
3952, sorry.
No problem. Okay, so we're looking at file number 22-3952, and I will go over this very quickly. First, we have roll number 030930099575. We have a 2021 value with a reference date of April 1st, 2018 of 1,597,000. And if we look at page 2, what I will quickly say about these ones today is we're looking at a subdivision where the zoning changed in 2021, in 2020. Yeah, in 2021. And so we have this grouping of land that was subdivided by the owners in South Point. So you'll see in the red outline at the top of page 2 where our first file number is today for 2021. And then after this, we're going to go over 2023 with the next file number. And the reason we have 20 today is because there are 10 parcels that the zoning changed and they are now commercial. So they went from vacant agricultural farmland. The developers of South Point have this whole area of South Point developed, like let's say approximately 96% fully developed with residential and multifamily. And this last portion of land is the commercial area that needs to be developed. So From my understanding, the history was they've requested some extensions over time to keep it, we'll develop it in a certain amount of time. And I believe the last meeting determined that the last council meeting determined in 2021, they would have to, this is going to be commercial land and it has to be developed or plans to develop it within a year sort of thing. So it is now currently for sale, being developed as commercial land. And that's the reason that these supplementary notices were sent out. And so I think what my plan of action here is to go over the 2021, go over my comparables for it for the 2018 market value of April 1st, and then we'll go over the 2023. I'll go over my comparables. The next one, obviously, after Mr. Reimer goes for 2021, but you'll have an overview. You can see that 8 of the lots are very similar in size. So, and then there's 2 more that are a little larger to the west side of our one now. But we'll go over each one, obviously. But I think if we go over all the comparables, we're not making any changes for each lot, if that makes sense, comparable wise. So, that's just a little preamble, and I'll continue to go over this one for everyone. So you'll notice that we're at the corner of Southview and Payworks Way. This is off the corner of all these subdivided lots are off the corner of Kenniston and Waverly in South Point. You can see page 2, just a basic picture street view of that developed land. The streets are developed around it with lights. The roads are all done. They're ready to be sold as commercial land and developed. So if we turn to page 3, we'll see how this lot is valued. We have 63,370 square feet at $25.20. So I highlighted that value so you can see it. And this comes to a total land value of $1,597,000 as a C3 commercial land. I've went back to find some older comparables, as our reference date is April 1st, 2018 for this one. And we have comparable number 1. This is 2106 DeVries Avenue. This is the corner of Laja, Modier, and Headmaster. So if you need to reference any of these comparables going over on page 4 and 5, I've included some aerial pictures so you can get an idea of where they are. But this is an older sale, March 7th, 2014. It's zoned C2 commercial, and it's 98,201 square feet. So it's a little larger than our subject property, but a large commercial sale on the corner of Headmaster and Lage sold for $20.37 in 2014. And it was eventually developed into multifamily apartments. If we turn to page 3, my second comparable on page 3, this is 50 Center Street. This is located in Bridgewater, so it's very close to the subject property. It was 135,000 square feet, so much larger than our subject property, but nearby, and an older sale in 2014, but it sold for $23.68 a square foot. You can see this one at the bottom of page 2. This is a triangular lot on the corner of Northtown and Center Street. This eventually was developed kind of split up halfway and developed into a gas station at the bottom, and then, or I believe it was a bank and a gas station sort of combination of 2 buildings on there. And again, nearby in Bridgewater, a newer development that was, the residential was built first, and then they built the commercial after, kind of similar what's happening in South Point with our subject properties. And then since again, we have an older reference date, I've had to use some older sales. Tough to find the large size commercial older sales, but we do have comparable 3. This was 868 Regent Avenue. So this is right on Regent. We're looking at a 2015 sale for 58,000 square feet. So very similar in size to our subject property. It sold for $30.28 a square foot. Again, this is a land that is fronting right on to Regent. You can see it located on the picture of it located on the top of page 5, and that land is currently still for sale from my understanding, or it's being for lease right now. I'm not sure if it's been developed yet, but it's an older sale for that land. And then on page 5, I found another larger sale. This is located at 1639 St. Mary's Road. This sold in May 9th, 2018. And we have 79,332 square feet at $20.80 a square foot. You can see how that lot is sized, and it was eventually developed with a multifamily off of St. Mary's there. So again, we have 4 older sales. They're ranging from $20 up to $30 a square foot for C2 zoned. Our subject properties are C3, which offers a little more options for development. But again, we're still at that commercial zoning. I could not find any comparable C3 sales as of those for that reference date. But again, that's the overview of this one. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Reimer, questions of the assessor?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Spacek, the comparable number 2, which can note that we both have that in our submissions on Center Street. So if we go to the bottom of page 4, which is the showing the location of this. Now that is that's the fully developed commercial area. Just a couple of miles north of the subject along Canniston, correct?
Correct.
And that, of course, and if you're not familiar with it, that's fine. But that is part of the overall significant commercial development that includes a grocery anchor and quite a number of restaurants and various CRUs, including this co-op gas bar, I believe, is at this site. So that's the significant commercial development for the Bridgewater area there, correct?
Correct.
Okay. As a matter of interest, did you notice any other sales right in that commercial development in that major commercial development along Center Street?
I believe there are numerous sales that happened over the years.
Okay. With respect to then now DeVries and Regent, so Regent is located very much in sort of the very much in the east end of the city in Transcona, fronting on Regent, correct?
Correct. True.
And St. Mary's Road. So everything we're talking about this morning, as far as these parcels, it's in sort of Bridgewater South Point area. St. Mary's Road being at the southern end of St. Mary's, a few blocks south of St. Mattel's Center, and that I noticed that the transaction date is May 9th, but I believe you're assuming, or the department's assuming, that the transaction, the meeting of the minds would have happened prior to April 1 of 2018.
That was my thoughts. Yes.
Okay, and that was at just under $21 at $20.80 a foot, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So for the two that are located in the south and the one on Center, the range of those two comparables, nearest both in time and in not nearest in time for Center, but nearest in geographically would be Center, and nearest in time would be St. Mary's Road, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, could I ask, just to expedite things, that all the questions asked and answered be carried forward with respect to every one of the 2021 supplementary assessment appeals?
Yes, Mr. Reimer.
Thank you. Those are my questions.
Ms. Davidson?
I had a couple of questions. Is this land now serviced?
So from my understanding and looking up what it's serviced as much as the streets are serviced around it, electrical there, each one would have to connect to water as from what I could gather from, your depending on the definition of serviced, like they would have to, from these developments, it's very common, they'd have to connect to wherever the closest, however they do that, water main wise, sewer wise, but that's my understanding of the service level.
Okay, and this is just a educational question. In terms of these ones you indicated were C2?
Yeah, they're commercial
right.
too.
And this one, and the subject one is a C3, and some were used for multifamily and some were used for commercial development. Does that make a difference in the sale price at the time? Like what the use is and whether it's C2 or C3, does that impact the sale price?
Yeah, like it depends what their options for develop in the end. At the end of the day, it's the more options you have to development, the better it is for somebody trying to sell land. But again, there's not too many. I couldn't find many large C3 sales, and C2 isn't far off. Like I don't know the exact difference of what you could develop as a C2 versus a C3. I'll bet you it's not the biggest difference, but yeah, usually zoning can affect the sale price.
Okay, that was all my questions. Thank you.
I thank you. Mr. Whitbread?
Yeah, just one, Jonathan. Do economies of scale come into play with land like this, where you're looking at a property that's 135,000 square feet versus a property at 63,000 square feet? Do you expect to pay less per square foot for that larger parcel of land, all things being equal?
Yeah, I think like the theory is an overall, evidence would suggest for land sales that a much larger land, you'll get a lower sale price than a smaller size. But again, with these ones and the amount of sales I have, I don't have a ton of, exact evidence to show that. But the theory is that you're going to pay less for a larger plot of land versus a smaller plot of land, if that makes sense.
I understand. Thank you very much. No further questions.
Thank you. I thank you. Mr. Reimer, your presentation?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. So what I propose, again, to sort of set the stage is to go through sort of the common issues and the common evidence once, and then ask if those comments, questions be carried forward into the remaining appeals with respect to the 2021 supplementary assessments. So this property, as indicated in Mr. Spacek's brief, we're dealing with a number of parcels, all sort of clustered around the Peniston Waverly corner. This is a development that, and Mr. Spacek's comments were exactly my understanding as well. It had been zoned as agricultural, it was rezoned to commercial, and then the department issued supplementary assessments to reflect that rezoning. I did have a chance to speak with the owner now, and if we might actually stay in Mr. Spacek's brief on page 2, which has the overhead map. So the parcels that we're talking about this morning, there's a total of 10 parcels. It's all of the 8 parcels to the east of Payworks Way. And then it's the 2 parcels, the very much rectangular parcels located just adjacent, just to the south of what you can see there is multifamily development. So it's those 2 parcels plus the 8 we're talking about this morning. In speaking with the owner, there's a transaction we're going to come to with respect to the 2023 appeal that is immediately next to these parcels. But with respect to the remaining parcels, and Miss Davidson's question actually was a very good one. The question I posed to the owner is, okay, so you've got all these commercial properties, like is the intent to develop all of them for commercial uses in the long term, or what do you expect in terms of demand and your ability to transact with these properties? And the comments back, and this is simply a comment back, there's been no formal rezoning, but the very much, especially with the parcels that are more to the north and east off of Waverly, is that there certainly is a possibility that ultimately, due to demand and the logistics of where those parcels are located, that multifamily may well be a more suitable option. Having said that, it's all based on demand. It's all based on what ultimately the developer is able to secure with these lands. And so we are valuing the properties this morning as though they are going to be, with the assumption they're going to be developed for commercial purposes. That may well though change depending on how the process unfolds with respect to commercial demand. Mr. Whitbread's question on economies of scale is, and I agree, absolutely agree in theory that the economies of scale would typically be a consideration and should be looked at here as well. But notwithstanding the economies of scale, first and foremost, one has to look at demand. When we look at transactions that I'm going to be presenting in my materials, there's a number of transactions, and I don't know if the board members are familiar with this general area, but a couple of miles north, and my question to Mr. Spacek had been with respect to the Center Street comparable, which we also have in our evidence. A couple of miles north of the subject, there is a very well-established, very substantial retail development with the Save-On Foods anchor, with a very large number of CRU units, lottery commission, various restaurants and such. And that development has certainly been, it's been in place for a number of years, and that represents a very, very significant commercial component for both Bridgewater, but also the subject. When you've got that well-established commercial development up there. I'd suggest this morning that it certainly would have an impact on the value and the capacity of the owners to secure the same or very similar tenants for these properties when you've got the very same mix just up the road. That by all accounts certainly is doing well, but it certainly would have a bearing on the subject, and what we're going to hear with respect to the 2023 appeal is some evidence that's germane to that point. So with that in mind, then now I'm going back to my brief. If we might go to page 8 of my submission, please. And again, on page 8, there's just the overhead view. So the parcels we're talking about are all located between, they're basically bordered by Keniston on the west, Waverly on the south, John Angus Drive on the east, and then the residential development just to the north of these properties. I'll leave it for the board to look at, but we've printed out from the assessor's public site, the pages showing the current assessments and the location of each of the subject parcels. With respect to this property, on page 12 is where the location of the subject is, and that's the same location that Mr. Spacek had already pointed out in his materials. This is the parcel of 1.5 acres roughly that is located to the east of the parcel that fronts on John Angus Drive. And so if we then move to, we'll skip down to page 23, please. And as Mr. Spacek has done, we've got common evidence for all the 2021 appeals. I propose, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, simply to go through it once. We've got a number of transactions there. These transactions are all, I talked about that commercial development, that very well-established development a couple of miles north. These are all within that development. So we've got sales between 2014 and 2015. The first transaction is a very, very substantial piece of land. It's 435,000 square feet that sold at $17 with C2 zoning. And then we've got some other parcels, smaller parcels that are located again on Center and Northtown Road, ranging between $13.79 a foot and $23.68 a foot. So when one looks at the economies of scale that Mr. Whitbread was referencing, again, that I'd suggest, Mr. Chairman, economies of scale certainly would enter into it, but first and foremost, the demand for and the location of the parcels and the demand for those parcels would have even more significant bearing on the transaction prices. And as you can see on the chart, there's one C3 parcel. It's the second last entry on that top chart. That's also a property on Center Street that sold for $13.79. On that same day, you've got a C2 parcel zoned on Center Street that sold for $13.79. Those parcels would have been purchased as by the same purchaser. And then you've got the 50 Center Street, which is, as Mr. Spacek alluded to, that was ultimately developed by Red River Co-op as a significant gas station. And then you've got the other parcel on Northtown Road that sold for $10.34. Now, Ms. Davidson had raised the question of the servicing, and I would echo Mr. Spacek's comments with respect to these transactions and the subject parcels. In all cases, you'll have to punch the services from the services that are running along the roads. You have to punch them into the lot itself in order to get service for each of the properties. But that's common to all of the transactions, where you have to run the services from the lot line to ultimately wherever the building is sited on each of the parcels. We also, as you can see in the bottom of page 23, because of those comments I received from the owner, particularly with respect to the smaller parcels located in the area of the one we're talking about here, I included some multifamily parcels, and actually they're entirely consistent. The range is very, very consistent in the multifamily parcels in this area. These are all located sort of in the Bridgewater and South Point area, very close to the subject. In general terms, the ranges, again, as you can see on that chart, very similar. So based upon those transactions, and specifically accounting though for what I'd suggest is the demand for those parcels in that significant development to the north, which represents the substantial commercial development in the area. Given those prices of between 13.79 a foot and 23.68, we're suggesting that for the subject, $18 a square foot would be appropriate. And now it's been pointed out that there has been some slight differences in square footage. And so I'm going to provide the board with a revised figure using the very same rate, but just with making the small adjustments to the actual square footage. I do take Mr. Spacek's calculation of the areas, land areas, to be more precise than my own based on my review. So in terms of the subject, the land area of 63,370 square feet. The amended request is just slightly lower than at 1,141,000, and that's based on a rate of $18 a square foot. Thank you.
I thank you. Mr. Spacek, questions of Mr. Reimer?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Ms. Davidson?
I have no questions either, thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Whitbread?
I have none either, thanks.
All right, either party wants submission? Okay,
No, thank you.
okay. We'll go to the next item on the docket, which is the roll number 223953. File number less than 4 digits, 9575. Are you okay, Jonathan?
Just give me one moment. I've got too many of these here.
That's fine.
Sorry, what was the roll number? Oh no, I have it open here. Sorry.
Okay.
I knew this. So we're now at the 2023. We'll go over this one time. We are the exact same lot. This is file number 22-3953, roll number 030930095575. We've now moved to the 2023 roll year. We have a reference date of April 1st, 2021, and we have a total assessed value of $1,631,000. So this again, same zoning, same land area of 63,370. If we turn to page 3 of my brief, you will see that we have 2574 a square foot, which is model driven land value for this property. And again, we have some similar comparables, but what I will go through here is just comparable number 1 is the same one as the 2014 sale. The comparable number 2 is the same in Bridgewater that we went over. We have comparable number 3 is another sale in Bridgewater that sold July 30th, 2019. This is 128,000 square feet, and it sold for $28.43 a square foot. And then comparable number 4 is the most comparable property in like the closest in location. It's much larger at 348,000 square feet, but this is one of the ones the developer has sold within this development, and they are building the Payworks kind of headquarters on it right now. So Payworks had purchased this property October 30th, 2020. This is the property that's located right at the corner of Kenniston and Waverly. You can scroll down to page 5 to see exactly what I'm talking about here. At the bottom of page 5, you can see just very close to our subject property in the same development at the corner of Waverly and Kenniston. This property was purchased for $18.95 square feet. So this is C3 zoned. It's much larger than any of our subject properties today at 348,000 square feet. So, really a decision's going to need to be made on the economies of scale and compared to location of this property. So it's much larger than our 60,000 square feet we're looking at, and in my eyes, when I look at our model value, I don't believe $25.74 is unreasonable, based on that 60,000 square feet versus a 350,000 square foot lot that just sold for $18.95. So again, I think that's probably the most comparable property. But then if we look at comparable number 5, we have another sale in Bridgewater. This one was 74,000 square feet that sold in 2019, and you can see where that's located as well. I've included an aerial picture down below, but this one sold for $25.19 a square foot. So those are the updated comparables based on the updated reference date. So these are more recent sales. And you can see that on page 6. This is this Center Street. This has been developed into a multifamily within Bridgewater there. But yeah, that's an update for this one, just for the reference period. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
I thank you. Mr. Reimer?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Spacek, you know, again, our evidence actually is remarkably consistent for the most part. If we go to your page 5, then at the bottom of page 5 on 80 Payworks Way. Now we are talking about, as you alluded to, we're talking about commercial development, primarily, presumably, as it is with Center Street, sort of retail development, retail and office.
Yes.
And Payworks Way, and certainly I am fully agree that it's a larger parcel, but that is the parcel with certainly with no exception, with the largest exposure to both Waverly and Kenaston, located right at the corner there, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And so the Center Street property, okay, so you're saying the Center Street was ultimately developed as multifamily, correct?
Yes, the one at the corner of Center and Park West.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Those are my questions.
I thank you. Ms. Davidson?
Just a reminder, you indicated that these were model-driven land values. When the model calculates it, does it utilize all the vacant land sales in the city?
So all the vacant land sales are analyzed. They're all, you know, those sales are all used as long as they're fee simple, you know, as long as they're arm's length sales. And yeah, it's I don't know exactly how it is determined for each one, but again, we any land sale we determine as arm's length is used within that model.
So does this mean, since it includes all regions of the city, that the sale prices in Bridgewater and the comp you used are consistent with the overall model, regardless of where the vacant land is?
Yeah, I did. It is split up into model regions. So there, you know, you're going to have different areas of the city getting different land values based on the sales within those regions.
Okay, so it is subsetted into regions.
Absolutely. You know, as much as it can be based like on our locational split, just like our rents are for office buildings. You know, we've had market regions for a long time, and we try to analyze based on market region to get a more accurate value.
Okay, thank you very much. That was everything.
I thank you. Mr. Whitbread?
I have none, thank you.
I thank you. Mr. Reimer, your presentation?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. So again, for the sake of brevity, because there is common evidence, if we could go to my submission on page 23, please. Let me know when you're there.
Sorry, what page it was?
23.
Thank you.
Everyone's there?
Yep.
Okay, so and again, this is the same transaction that Mr. Spacek alluded to. That I think we interpreted a little differently. When I sort of had been getting to that in my questions, the transaction at 80 Payworks Way, notwithstanding the size, I'm suggesting would represent the upper limit of the value of the subject property. So we've got a few things happening. Obviously, geographically, it's right there. It's in the very same location as the subject. And absolutely it's larger. This is an 8-acre parcel, but one has to take a look at what's happening with the transaction and the way that, if we're assuming commercial development, which for the purposes of this hearing we are, that parcel is the prime location of all of the parcels that we're talking about this morning. If you look at the map at the bottom of page 23, as I mentioned in my questioning, this is at the corner of Waverly and Kenaston, has by far the best and most exposure to both of those busy thoroughfares, and for commercial purposes, retail and office, but particularly retail, that exposure is going to be key. When you're talking about, and as I'm again referring to the map on page 23, when you're talking about the parcels that are located to the north and east, those parcels simply don't have that exposure, not even close, and for commercial development, they, notwithstanding the fact that they're much smaller, I'm suggesting that those economies of scale would more than be outweighed by the lack of exposure to these major thoroughfares. When you're talking about the two parcels to the north, which are also on the docket this morning, that's the two rectangular parcels. They do have exposure to Kenniston, but of course they're very narrow parcels that simply would not have the same kind of exposure that this one in the corner would have. So the transaction, and we have the very same facts. It was it sold in October of 2020 and sold for a price of $18.94 a square foot. Again, very cognizant of the economies of scale debate or considerations in this case. But given the location of the subject, or of the that transaction, I should say, being the prime location of any of these parcels, both in terms of the geographical location and configuration of the site, we're suggesting that provides the very best benchmark for valuing the remainder of the parcels. On page 24, we've got some updated information as well. You can see there some of the sales are the same, and there's also a couple of more sales that are in there, one in Northtown and one in Kenniston. It's a very similar range to what Mr. Spacek has submitted in his evidence as well. But again, I go back to the purchase or the transaction for the premium parcel geographically being at the corner of Kenniston and Waverly, and that price of $18.94 a square foot. And I'd suggest that the $19 rate, and now sorry, I'm on page 25. The $19 rate that we're suggesting, based on using that ADP, where it's factoring in economies of scale, but also then factoring in the configuration of these other sites. The $19 we believe is appropriate. So again, I'm going to, based on the revised area, if I could ask the board members and Mr. Spacek to make a note using the area of 63,370. The corrected request based on $19 a square foot is $1,204,000. Thank you.
I thank you, Mr. Reimer. Mr. Spacek, questions?
I have no questions, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Davidson?
I have no questions either, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Whitbread?
I have none either, thank you.
Either party want summation?
Thank you.
No, thanks.
Let's go on. I'll just read the rule, the file number 223946. Last four digits for the roll number is 9560.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll repeat what you said one more time. File number 22-3946, roll number 0309300956. We are back to 2021. We have a value of $1,487,000. This parcel is has a land area of 57,818. Again, since I have went over all my comparables on page 3, you can see we have a land value of $25.72 on this one, and for that total value of $1,487,000. And if you just carrying over all questions and answers, if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Mr. Reimer, questions?
Just questions asked and answered. Thank you.
Ms. Davidson?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Whitbread?
I have none, thanks.
Okay. I thank you. Mr. Reimer, your presentation?
Again, Mr. Chairman, so for the same reasons that we've discussed previously, the request for the 2021 supplementary assessment. If we might just skip to, it's the same evidence, the same comparable. So if we might go to my page 24, please.
Okay.
And I'm just going to correct for the area. And I apologize, we're moving faster than I can click over here.
Well, me too.
Okay, so. The revised request based on the corrected area of 57,584 square feet. For 2021 would be 1,037,000. And again, for the reasons that I've spoke of, it's based on $18 a square foot. Thank you.
Mr. Spacek, questions of Mr. Reimer?
I have no questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Davidson,
I have no questions either, thanks.
Mr. Whitbread?
And I have none either, thank you.
Okay. I don't think either party wants summation, would they?
No, thank you.
Okay,
No, I won't need any more today.
okay, I won't ask that question again. Okay, so let's go to file number 223947. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one.
No, I think that's right.
Is that right? I'm sorry.
You know,
Sorry,
sorry,
okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna back up. I apologize. I had the wrong. I had file number 3960 open.
Okay.
I apologize to you. Could I?
I was,
Yeah,
yeah.
No, I've got to redo that.
Okay,
I apologize.
You can-
Yeah, we're at 39, we're at file number 3946. correct?
yes, okay.
So let's do this. Let's try.
Let's
this
go
again.
back here.
Yes, please.
Okay. Oh, I don't need.
No.
No. When you were reading the figures, Gary, I was, whoa. Okay, this is 46, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So
Change this to 50, so 57.
Yeah. 57, 816, right? 818, sorry. So you're gonna base your figures at,
Exactly.
yeah,
right.
okay,
And that request. Yeah, that
Yeah.
request is 1,041,000,
Yeah.
please.
okay.
And that's based on $18 a foot.
Now I think we're on track. Okay, Mr. Spacek, questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Panel members, any questions?
None.
Okay. I'm not asking for summation, so let's go to the next property, which is going to be. Going to be 223946, or sorry, 47.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
We are at file number 223947. This is the 2023 value of the roll number we just went over, 0309-300-9560. The 2023 value is 1,489,000. This is the same land area, 57,818. If we scroll to page 3, you'll see we're using it. The model is using a $25.75 a square foot value on that 57,818 square feet for a total value of 1,489,000. And again, as I went over all the comparables, I'm just asking the questions and answers be carried forward. If you have any questions, let me know, please. Thank you.
I thank you. Mr. Reimer?
Just questions asked and answered, please. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Davidson,
No, thank you.
Mr. Whitbread.
No, thank you.
Mr. Reimer, the floor is yours.
You might then, turn to. I'll get that page number here. I believe it should be the same. We could turn to page 24 of my submission. I will actually. Sorry. Page 25 of my 2023 submission. And I will provide my suggestion based on the corrected area. And this is for the roll number ending in 560 for 2023, using the larger area 57,000. And 99,000. Based on again $19 a square foot. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Spacek?
No questions, thank you.
Ms. Davidson?
No questions, thanks.
Mr. Whitbread?
No questions.
We'll go to 2239.50.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 223950, roll number 0309300957. We have a 2021 roll year value of 1,502,000. This is a 58,611 square foot lot and is a very similar location. You can see exactly where it is on the top of page 2. Our model value for this size is $25.63. We have a total value of 1,502,000. Again, the same comparables with the same questions asked and answered. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Let me catch up here.
No problem.
Mr. Reimer, questions?
Questions asked and answered, please.
Okay. Davidson?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Whitbread?
I have none.
Mr. Reimer, the floor is yours.
Okay, if we might go briefly to my page 24, please. And again, I'll give, based on the corrected areas, provide an amended request. So using the slightly larger area of 58,611 square feet for this parcel and a rate of $18 a square foot, my request is to order a reduction to 1,055,1055,000. Thank you.
Did you say the rate was $18?
$18, yeah.
Okay. Mr. Spacek?
No questions, thank you.
Ms. Davidson?
None for me either.
Mr. Whitbread?
I have none, thank you.
Okay, let's go to 2239.51.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As stated, 22-3951 is the file number. We are at roll number 0309300957. This is the 2023 value of the roll number we just had prior. This is still 58,611 square feet. If we turn to page 3, you'll see a model value of $25.75. And this gives it a total land value of 1,509,000. Again, using the same comparables, questions asked and answered. If you, and that is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Reimer?
Just questions asked and answered, please.
Thank you. Davidson?
No, thank you.
Mr. Whitbread?
No, thank you.
Mr. Reimer, your presentation?
Okay, and if we might go to page 25 of our submission, please. And I'll provide the board with an updated request based on the correct area. So using the area of 58,611 square feet our request is 1,114,011,140,0. Again, based on the rate of $19 a square foot applied to the corrected area. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Spacek,
I have no questions, thank you.
Davidson,
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Whitbread.
None, thank you.
Okay. Let's go to 223948.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 22-3948, roll number 030930095565. We are back to 2021. You can year number 2021 assessment. We have 1,533,000. This is a 60,144 square foot lot. You can see where it's located on page 2. Page 3 shows the workup, 144 square feet at $25.49 with a land value of 1,533,000, and same comparables for 2021. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Mr. Remmer,
Questions asked and answered, please.
Davidson,
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Whitbread.
I have none, thanks.
Mr. Reimer, your presentation.
Again, if we, on page 24, we have our original requests, and I'd like to update that request to reflect the correct land area. So using 60,144 square feet and applying a rate of $18 a square foot, the revised request is 1,083,000,1083,000. Thank you.
Mr. Spacek,
I have no questions. Thank you.
Ms. Davidson,
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Whitbread.
None, thank you.
Okay. We'll go to 223949.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 22-3949, roll number 030930095565. This is the 2023 value for our last lot. We have a total value of 1,549,000. Again, if we turn to page 3, this is 60,144 square feet at $25.75 for a total value of 1,549,000. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Mr. Reimer.
Questions asked and answered, please.
Thank you. Ms. Davidson,
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Whitbread.
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Reimer, your presentation.
If I could make the updated request based on the correct area, this is referencing our chart on page 25. Then applying the rate of $19 a square foot to 60,144 square feet. The revised request is 1,143,011,43,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Spacek.
No questions, thank you.
Ms. Davidson,
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Whitbread.
And I have none, thanks.
Okay, let's go to the next one, which is 223962.
Sorry, I'm just loading up the right one here. I only got so far ahead.
Okay.
Okay, so we are now looking at File number 22-3962. We are at roll number 0309300960. We have a 2021 value of 3,381,000. This is 160,761 square feet. You'll notice on the top of page 2, we've now moved to the longer lots that are fronting onto Kenniston. This lot is valued for 160,000 square feet at $21.03. Again, this is now a total value of 3,381,000. Again, using the same comparables. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Reimer?
Questions asked and answered.
Yay. Ms. Davidson?
Just a quick one. So is the lower cost per square foot due to the larger size in this case?
Yeah, I'm going to assume that due to the larger size, it's, we're almost 612, almost 3 times the size of the smaller lots, and we're getting some economies of scale due to that.
And the location on, facing Kenniston, obviously, you're saying it would be overtaken by the size of the lot.
Yeah, and like when I look at these pictures, I see like there's not a direct connection into it with the road already. So I don't know if they add that after or what, but again, I think that takes a little bit away from the location, just that as you can see where the other road would connect to it easier.
Okay, thanks a lot. That was everything.
Thank you. Mr. Whitbread?
I have none, thanks.
Mr. Reimer, your presentation?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. So again, if I could make an amended request based on the corrected area. So applying the corrected area of 160,761 square feet. The request based on $18 a square foot is 2,894,2894000. Thank you.
Sorry, do you mind repeating that?
2,894,000.
I thank you. Mr. Spacek?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Ms. Davidson?
I'm just wondering, your cost per square foot is the same as the other ones regardless of size, whereas the assessors is lower.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to do, Ms. Davidson, what I alluded to earlier, it has to do with the assumption with the commercial development, the exposure for commercial development to the major thoroughfares.
Okay.
But size is also coming into it. So these do absolutely have the exposure. If we go to, I'll open my submission. It has, these are the rectangular lots that have some exposure to Kenniston, but it's not great. I mean, they're sort of more perpendicular to Kenniston, but do have some exposure to it. So in my opinion, it has some certainly similarity to the Payworks transaction, which had much more exposure on both sides. Between that and the larger parcel, we thought the $18 rate was still appropriate. Parcels to the east, recall, those had no exposure whatsoever to the major thoroughfare, but they're smaller. So we didn't make an adjustment for that based on the different configurations, the exposure to the major thoroughfares versus the size.
Okay, thank you very much. That's my questions.
I thank you. Mr. Whitbread?
I have none, thanks.
Mr. Reimer, what was the rate per square foot?
For your $18.
$18.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move to 223963.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We are file number 22-3963. This is the 2023 value of the lot at roll number 0309300960. Total value of 3,388,000. This is a land area of 160,761 square feet. If we scroll down to page 3, you'll see we have a $21.07 value a square foot. This comes to a total value of 3,388,000. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Mr. Reimer,
Questions asked and answered, please.
Ms. Davidson,
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Whitbread,
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Reimer, your presentation.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. So again, if I might, update the request based on the correct land area of 160,761. Recall that our suggested rate for these properties for the 2023 assessment is $19 a square foot, which would then make the request $3,054,3054,000. Thank you.
Any questions? Panel members, Mr. Assessor,
No questions, thank you.
No questions, thank you.
okay,
No questions.
let's go to 223954.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 22-3954. We are at roll number 0309300958. This is the 2021 roll year. We have a value of 1,463,000. We are getting back to the smaller lots. This is again located at the this is along I'll show you exactly where it is. Actually, at the top of page 2, we have 56,629 square feet at $25.83, and this is a total value of 1,463,000. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Mr. Reimer,
Questions asked and answered, please.
okay. Panel members, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Reimer, your presentation.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, in this case, we are virtually identical in the square footage, so we request that the assessment would be reduced to $1,019,000. Thank you. Based on $18 a foot.
1,018,000. 19,
Yeah, 19.
but at $18 a square foot.
That's right. So 1,019,000. Yeah.
Mr. Assessor?
I have no questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Board members,
No
None,
questions.
thanks.
is everybody okay? Want a break or anything? Or you want to continue on?
I think we're almost there.
Okay. Let's go, 223955.
223955 is the file number. Roll number 0309300958. This is the 2023 value. We have 56,629 square feet. You can see again where that's located, page 2. The total value of this parcel is 1,458,000. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Mr. Reimer,
Questions asked and answered, please.
thank you. Panel members, any questions?
Thank you.
Okay. Mr.
None.
Whitbread,
Thank you.
Mr. Reimer, your presentation.
And again, the square footage in this case being virtually identical, we're up by 1 square foot. So the requested value is $1,076,000 based on the rate of $19 a square foot for the 2023 assessment. Thank you.
Thank you. Rate per square foot again, 18?
$19, yeah,
Okay,
$19
thank you.
for 2023.
Mr. Spacek, questions?
No questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Davidson,
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Whitbread.
And I have none.
Okay, let's go to the next one, which is 223960.
Thank you. File number 22-3960, roll number 030930099595. This is the 2021 roll year, total value 1,482,000. We have another one of the smaller lots, 57,585 square feet. You can see exactly where that is on the top of page 2. We have the total value of 1,482,000 based on $25.74 a square foot. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Can't write that fast. Okay, Mr. Reimer, questions?
Ask and answer, please.
Okay. Panel members, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
None, thanks.
Mr. Reimer, your presentation?
So in this case, we're actually identical in square footage. So the request for the 2021 supplementary is 1,037,1037,000 based on a rate of $18 a square. Thank you.
Mr. Assessor, any questions?
No questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Panel members?
No questions.
No questions.
Go to 223961.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 22-3961, roll number 030930099595. This is now the 2023 value. We have 1,483,000. This is the same lot as before. If we turn to page 3, we have $25.75 a square foot for a total value of $1,483,000. Thank you.
I thank you. Mr. Reimer?
Questions asked and answered, please.
Thank you. Panel members, any questions?
No, thank you.
None, thanks.
Mr. Reimer, your presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And again, the land area is precisely the same in this case. So the request is to reduce the value to 1,094,1094,000 based on a rate of $19 a square foot. Thanks.
Mr. Spacek, questions?
I have no questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Davidson?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you.
I have none.
Fred?
Thank you. None.
Okay. Okay, we'll go to 223964.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 22-3964. This is roll number 030930099605. We have a 2021 value of 3,505,000. You will notice at the top of page 2, this is the other longer narrow lot that is has one side going to Kenniston. It's 167,201 square feet. This is a total this has a net rent, or sorry, a land rate of $20.96 a square foot for a total value of $3,505,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Reimer?
No questions asked and answered.
Thank you. Panel members?
No questions, thank you.
I have none, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Reimer, your presentation?
So, Mr. Chairman, if I might update the request to reflect the land area, which is 167,201 square feet. The revised request is 3,010,3010,000. And again, that's based on a rate of $18 a square foot. Thank you.
Repeat that figure one more time.
3,010,000. 3,010,000. Okay.
Mr. Spacek?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Panel members?
No questions, thank you.
I have none, thank you.
Okay. We'll go to 223963, pardon me, 65.
Thank you very much. File number 22-3965, roll number 030930096005. We have a 2023 value of 3,510,000. The land area of this one is still 167,201. We have a 2023 rental rate of, or a land value of $20.99 a square foot. This works out to 3,510,000. Thank you very much.
Mr. Reimer, questions?
No questions asked and answered, please.
Panel members?
No questions, thank you.
None, thank you.
Mr. Reimer, your presentation?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Based on the updated area and corrected area of 167,201, the request is to reduce the assessment to 3,177,3177000. And again, that's based on a rate of $19 a square foot. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll go, okay. Mrs. Barczyk, any questions? No.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Panel members, any questions?
No questions.
I have none, thank you.
I thank you. We'll go to 223956.
223965, I believe.
No,
Is it no
Oh,
63964?
65.
Oh, sorry, my fault.
That's okay.
Let's see what the next one is.
We're going
30
along too smoothly.
We're going 3956, then 57, right? Is
Yeah.
that the change
Correct.
you made? Yeah, okay.
Okay.
The one I changed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Floor's yours.
Thank you. It'll be one moment.
Okay.
Okay, let's see if I have the right one now. 22-3956. We are roll number 030930095585. We have a 2021 value of 1,986,000. This is a 61,689 square foot lot. You can see it's located on the top of H2 at the corner of Waverly and John Angus Drive. We have oh yeah, so this one's at the end here. So we're looking at again, so this one is a corner lot. It has more exposure, and the model is giving it a total rate of $32.19, which you'll notice has jumped up from our other values. So again, the model is giving it that higher rate because it's right at the corner of John Angus and Waverly, from my understanding. But again, that is why that jump is located there. Everything else, though, is the same. If we have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Reimer.
No questions asked and answered, please.
Hey, panel members, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Whitbread? Mr. Whitbread?
sorry, folks. Just looking at your comparables, Jonathan, they're much lower in this case than your actual rate, except for your third comparable. Can you explain why you would not look at that and make some sort of adjustment? Or do you just accept the model?
Yeah, I mean, in this case, the two along Waverly are having a higher. Do I think based on my comparables it needs to be 32? I mean, I don't know how much exact value that that locational difference adds, but again, I am trusting the model in this one with that 32.19 a square foot.
Yeah, it is significant, isn't it? At $7 a square foot.
Yeah, no, it definitely it took a jump up for the difference in location.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
I thank you. Jonathan, the rate, can you give me the rate? Is it 32.19?
I can give you the rate. It is $32.19.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Mr. Reimer, your presentation.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. So correcting for the land area of 61,689. The revised request this morning is 1,110,000. Based on the rate of $18 a square foot. I think the question though is a fair one I'm not amending my request beyond the $18, but when we talk about the exposure to not both, but at least one of the two thoroughfares with a fairly regularly shaped lot, then there might be some consideration of a premium, certainly not to the $32, but in terms of boats at sales that Mr. Spacek and I have presented. Again, going back to the Center Street property, that is, in my respectful submission, much superior location. That is the significant retail development in this area. But if the board were inclined to make an adjustment for the premium, because this particular lot and the next one have frontage on Waverly, that would stand to reason. Notwithstanding those comments, my request is 1,110,000. Thank you.
Mr. Spacek,
No questions, thank you.
Ms. Davidson,
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Whitbread.
And I have none, thank you.
Okay. We'll go to 223957.
Thank you. File number 22-3957, roll number 030930095585. We have a 2023 value of $2,036,000. Again, this is the same lot at the same corner, and the 2023 land rate is $33 a square foot. That is the difference for the total value of $2,036,000. And that's my presentation. Thank you.
Mr. Reimer.
Questions asked and answered, please.
Okay. Panel members.
No questions, thank you.
No questions.
Mr. Reimer, your presentation.
So with the application of the land area of 61,689, the revised request is 1,172,1172000. Again, based on the rate of $19 a square foot. And again, same comments with respect to it does have frontage on Waverly. It is pretty much a square lot, so if the board were inclined to make an adjustment for that in this particular case, that stands to reason. Thank you.
Mr. Reimer, maybe repeat your rate per square foot.
$19.
19.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Spacek, questions?
No questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Davidson,
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Whitbread.
None, thanks.
Okay. Let's go on to 223958.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 22-3958. We have roll number 030930095990. This is the 2021 value of $1,992,000. We have another corner lot along Waverly. It is 61,953 square feet. And if you turn to page 3, you'll see the 2021 values based on a land rate of $32.15. Again, for a total value of $1,992,000. Thank you.
I thank you. Mr. Reimer.
No questions asked and answered.
Thank you. Panel members.
No questions, thank you.
I have none, thank you.
Okay. Reimer, your presentation.
Based upon the corrected land area of 61,943, the request is to reduce the assessment to 1,115,011,150,000. Thank you.
The rate per square foot.
$18.
Thank you. Mr. Spacek.
No questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Panel members.
No questions, thank you.
And I have none, thanks.
Okay. We'll go to the last one, which is 223959. Project whenever you're ready.
Thank you for your patience, everyone. We have made it to the end. This is file number 22-3959, roll number 030930099590. We have a 2023 value on this lot at 2,045,000. This is the same lot as we had in 2021. We now have a land rate as shown on page 3 of $33.01. This comes to the total value of 2,045,000. And that is it. Thank you.
Remember,
Questions asked and answered.
okay. Panel members,
No questions, thank you.
And I have none, thanks.
I thank you. Mr. Reimer, your presentation.
Okay, so based on the tract area of 61,943 square feet, the revised request this morning is to a value of 1,177,1177000. That's again based on a rate of $19 a square foot. Thank you.
What did you read in regards to square footage?
61,943.
Okay, that sounds. Thought I heard something else. Okay. I thank you. Mrs. Pacheck.
No questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, panel members,
No questions, thank you.
I have none, thanks.
we've gotten to the end there, so. Mr. Reimer, thank you for your presentation and results very soon. And Mr. Spacek, thank you for your experience and well done and have a good day. So we have heard all the scheduled items and this hearing is now adjourned. I thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
You
Thank
too.
You too.